Hi, I'm Elena Koger, and welcome to MVN. Before we get into this episode of What's the Issue, we as a network would love to wish you a happy Women's History Month. We'd also like to provide a quick disclaimer that in this episode we will be having some courageous conversations, including gender, politics, personal experiences, and other things. If any of these topics could be potentially uncomfortable, we suggest you click off now. Thank you.
Hello, I'm your host of What's the Issue, Colby Davis, and welcome to this week's episode of What's the Issue. This week we will talk about women's equality, and the episode is entitled My Gender, My Choice. Since it is Women's History and Women's Equality Month, you clearly don't need a man's perspective on what's going on. So this month we're going to pass it over to the women and to hear their struggles and their issues.
Thank you, Colby. Hi, I'm your host, Elena Koger.
I'm your host, Anaya Bean.
Hi, my name is Rachel Harrison, and I'm the guest speaker.
So today we'd like to get into my gender, my choice. And it wasn't until 1848 that women were even allowed to vote. So we'd like to go ahead and talk about the milestones and some of the history and what we have to go through as women on a day-to-day basis in honor of Women's History Month. So let's talk about it.
Okay, I'll just start off with a quote by the Global Fund for Women, Champions for Equality. It says, "I fight for the dignity of all people, specifically women whose rights are trampled upon." And that comes from Amina in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So as we can see, the problems for women is just deeper than where we are. The problems that women face are everywhere.
Okay, so is there any personal experiences that you guys have experienced as a woman, or any certain issues that really are just weighing on your heart right now that you would like to discuss?
Something that's always weighing on my heart really is women being able to control their body, because there's a stigma that women are weak and they don't have any self-control and they aren't able to control themselves. But I feel like that is the last thing that really happens. I mean, we bear children, we know how to control our bodies. But one of the biggest thing I think that women face are being bashed for what they choose to do for their bodies, whether that's embracing their sexuality, having clothes, the clothes that they wear, having children. All of those tie into the stigma that women don't know how to control themselves.
I agree. I feel like a lot of it has to do with, I hear a lot of arguments between older people that their families are just like, when are you having us a baby? When are you gonna have me grandkids? When am I gonna have a niece or a nephew? Why is that something that's just expected from us as women? I don't understand that. I don't get why why do we have to bear children? I understand we have ovaries and a uterus, but it doesn't make sense to me that I'm expected to have children because I have those body parts.
Right.
I think that's just a stereotype that's like a very typical stereotype that people just think women have to do. You have to have children, you have to have a big family. Yeah.
Yes, I can understand that. Now, let's talk about the clothes that we wear and the problems that people have with the way that we decide to dress, because I know it's a big thing in places that we spend a lot of time, that we can only wear certain things, and it's a problem if we don't. How do you feel about that? Because I feel personally, I don't like it, because it's putting us in one box that women are supposed to follow because of our bodies. But I don't feel like that's right, because it's not the same for men.
I don't think so either. To be transparent, in a lot of places, including the workplace, school buildings, etc., 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 it's a wide variety of locations that this happens, and in situations that this happens, that women are not supposed to, show any skin. We're not allowed to show our shoulders or our legs or our arms or our chest or anything. It doesn't matter. Any type of skin that is showing, it is deemed to be inappropriate and distracting. Why does my body distract you when you have full control over, like you said before, they make us out to be we don't have control over ourselves, but really let's be completely honest here.
Why?
Why does my shoulders distract you? Why does my legs distract you? We have the same body parts besides, the specific things.
Right.
But like we have the same functions, really. Like I don't understand why my shoulders distract you. And to add on to that real quickly, our body types, like being a plus size woman, like talking about the clothing or whatever, I feel like it's also like as a woman it's hard, but being a plus size woman, it's even harder to pick out clothes that aren't going to be deemed inappropriate, or as if I'm just like bothering somebody else with the clothes that I wear, and I've had a lot of issues with that.
Yeah, same. I experienced the same struggles, and also what brands deem plus size women as, because a lot of times when I go shopping for clothes, I really literally think that they want me to look like a mom or a grandma, and then their clothes are flattering, they're kind of boring and just it's no personality. They just put us in a box because first of all we're women, and second of all we're plus size, I feel like.
Well, I can't really say I've had a struggle because I am more on like the skinnier spectrum. I don't know how to say it, but like, I don't think it's fair how like girls like they get us for like the smallest things, but boys like they can wear nothing. It's just fine. Like shorts, for example, like we could have like holes in our jeans, but like the boys just walk around with the shortest shorts on.
Right, they don't say anything.
And they don't say anything. So, and the thing like with shoulders and stuff, like girls can just show like a little shoulder, and the boys can walk around with a white beater on,
right,
and they wouldn't care.
Right. And then the dress codes in workplaces and school systems, it also gets into how we're treated at home as women. Because when people come over to our houses and we are comfortable in our own homes, it's cover up, because this person's coming. You need to dress appropriately when company is coming over. Company is coming to my house.
Why do I have to cover up for Jim Bob June? Like,
right, tell Jim Bob June to go home.
You need to just go back to your house. Like, I don't understand why I should have to put on more clothes.
Right.
When I'm in sweatpants and a crop top or whatever the situation may be. And I've never had to personally experience this, but I've also seen a lot of people, like, on social media and such, and just people that I've, like, known that have had to deal with that, and it doesn't make any sense. Make men responsible for their actions and stop putting women at liability for all of this.
Right, and even other women, put them in responsibility too, because I understand the whole looking appropriate thing, but to a certain extent where you make your child go in their room and stay in their room until company leaves, or go in their room and change their clothes just so they can come out of their room, I feel like it shows that we aren't respected, because you wouldn't tell your son that. I mean, some people, I can understand if you walking around the house with, like, nothing on. I would be like, yeah, put some clothes on. You making me feel cold. But it's different because it's a respect thing. Like, they don't respect us.
No, I agree. I don't want to get too political, but we also, like, when we talked about, like, having a uterus and, being expected to have kids, I also feel like going along with that choice of just not having to bear children because of what other people say, even if we can bear children, I don't think that we should all necessarily be able to have a choice. And I'm not going to go ahead and put my political views out there right now, but I think women should be able to make that decision of if they are pro-life or pro-choice on their own without a man's perspective. And I understand that men, they have a part in making a child, but at the end of the day, the woman is the one who is carrying that child, and I feel like other women should just respect the choice that other people make, if that makes any sense.
Right. Heavy on the men shouldn't really have an option, because I feel like like you said, I get that they take part in half the action or whatever, but they don't have to carry the child for 9 months. They don't have to experience the sickness. They don't have to experience, okay, it was an accident. Now I have to find how to figure this out financially. They don't have to go through all of that stuff because at the end of the day, the women are the people who take care of everything body wise, like taking care of your child. If you're not healthy and your woman is not healthy, who's to say your child will come out healthy? It's all a product of how the woman is being treated and how they are feeling.
I agree.
Especially when it comes to being stressed out because of a pregnancy, having to make that choice whether, oh my gosh, do I want to start this family or do I want to keep it on my own or keep living like without children. I feel like it's a big conversation, but I feel like everybody is deemed to have their own choice.
Yeah, I agree. I'd also like to circle back on a topic that we did cover last month during Black History Month when we interviewed athletes. It came up in the discussion when, if you want to go check out our interview video on Black student athletes, that'd be greatly appreciated, but you'll understand the reference I'm about to make. One of the people in that video, Marquita Becker, she mentioned how it was so much harder. Like, as a Black woman, it was really hard, but as a Black person of color, it was really hard. But as a Black woman,
It was even harder.
it was even harder to get things done.
Right.
Yeah, and because I did cheer with Marquita, and that's the sport we were talking about, but the stereotypes around cheers, like, we can't. The stereotype is that, cheer is a girly sport, and because it's a girly
Or
sport,
it's not even a sport. Cause
it is a sport.
I know.
No,
I
that's
think
an
it's a sport.
argument.
Oh yeah, it is
It's
a
an
sport.
argument
Yeah,
that a lot of people make, especially men,
yeah,
that cheerleading is not a sport.
But y'all put in just as much work as anyone else.
Right.
yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Like, just because it's a girly sport doesn't mean we can't do anything the boys can do. Like, if a
Right.
girl want to play football, she can play football.
Right.
Or if
But-
they wanted to play any other sport, they could do the same.
Anything.
But
If a girl
too,
wants to do anything,
I'm thinking too, like, why do we have like the powder puff really? Because
Why is there a powder puff?
it's nothing wrong with powder puff. Like, it's really fun to do, but like when you think about it, it's just another version of football that they
feminized.
make. Yeah, it's feminized.
Right, literally.
That
It
only
is.
girls
Why do you
can
have
play.
to feminize
But I
the
mean, a
sport?
girl,
For
if a
one
girl,
day. For one day.
You only get to play one day. a
Right.
day. It's not a
One
full
day.
Because
thing.
girls aren't capable of more than one day, apparently, quote unquote.
and
of
we're
physical
just
activity.
as athletic, we can be as strong as them if we really put in the work and we want to do it. They can do anything, but not just football, soccer, what's that, swimming.
Really anything.
Yeah,
Anything.
really
Track.
anything. Yeah, track.
I mean, there's a whole bunch. Like basketball, I
Yeah.
know we have girls' sports for all of that, but at the same time, just with that, the powder puff thing doesn't make any sense to me because, I understand, their argument. If somebody was to come back and argue on this podcast right now, I know exactly what you would say. And, we understand that football may have to be a little feminized, but powder puff, we can't really do much with that. And why does it only have to be one day?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
But anywho.
Yeah, definitely on the sports things because if you really want to get into it, men's sports are a lot more recognized than women's sports in the school systems, national, whatever the level may be, the rank may be. Men's sports are way more recognized.
You're more likely to see that on the TV or in the news or whatever the situation may be than you would be able to see a women's basketball team or a softball game or what even else is it? Like a women's track star.
Right. It's more put in the shadows. It's not as broadcasted as a men's sport would be. And I feel like that's not fair because they work their tails off to get to the level they are at. And they should get that recognition because think about it. If a NBA game is on and a WNBA game is on at the same time, which also isn't fair because it should be different times so everybody can enjoy both. Where is most of the views going to go to if you really want to get into the stats? We know where everybody is watching.
But not just viewers, because this is like a recent thing too. I think like the WNBA brought up how they're not getting paid as much as like the NBA, and it's a huge problem now. So
That was a real big issue. But I've really appreciated all the topics that we've covered today. I feel like we would have made Kobe proud. Y'all agree? So I'd like to go ahead and wrap it up here. Be sure to check us out on our next episode and check out our previous episodes of What's the Issue. And we will catch you guys next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.